It's time to twist, baby. We are going to focus on twists today, twists that are accessible for any level, but really focusing on technique and how to twist safe and securely. We're going to start in a child's pose today. So bring your knees as wide as the mat and then start to lay your body down. Laying forehead towards the mat, bum back towards the heels. Allowing this to be your gateway from whatever you were doing before this. All of the chaos and excitement maybe. And coming into this space of a little more calm. Just turn your attention to your breath and start to breathe more deeply. Feeling how deep the breath can go in and up through the body. When we're twisting, we're kind of starting to constrict certain areas, and the breath has to kind of change its path up and down the body. So can you notice the route that your breath takes and how deep you can get that breath? You might be able to notice later when we start to twist that maybe that changes. Or maybe you have to find different ways, more focus on filling up that belly and keeping that breath deep. Take one more deep breath here. Letting yourself sink down on the exhale. And then inhale to really gently lift yourself up. And we're coming to all fours. So knees stacked underneath your hips, spreading your fingers as wrists stack underneath your shoulders. And let's take a cat-cow. Inhaling to drop the belly, roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. Exhale to send the spine all the way up to the ceiling. Inhaling to drop that belly, roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. Exhaling to take it back the other way. And just continue this for a bit longer. A couple more times through each way. This is a great kind of warm up for the spine, for the back, which obviously has to do quite a bit when we're twisting, as we're keeping a lot of length and then twisting around to the side. There's a lot of kind of different ranges of motion and flexibility. So an important warm up to open up. Okay, the next time that you come back through center, find that neutral spine. And you're just going to come back to sit on your bum. So coming to a Sukhasana, a cross-legged position. If this doesn't feel comfortable for any reason, you could sit back on your shins. Struggling to think of the word. Sit back on your heels. We're going to take a deep breath here. Roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. And then with your next inhale, can you lift your arms all the way up, reach them high, and then really concentrating on twisting from the core, from the center. You're going to start to lift your hands over to the right, reaching that right hand back behind you. Left hand comes to the thigh or the knee. And you're going to start to twist to the right. Now, keep this relatively gentle because we're just coming into this. I want you to think up and tall. It's all about today finding that length to then kind of journey our way around on a twist. So I want you to think up tall and then maybe you're starting to reach yourself to the side. Now, it's quite common for people to look back behind them to try and encourage their body to go a bit further. And if it feels okay on the neck, you can certainly kind of start to shift your gaze, but just be really mindful of if that's kind of really adding strain for you to kind of really think that you're moving further around. Keep the gaze to the side. We keep on right fingertips so that you're not pressing into that backhand and using that to twist you around. You really want to twist from this core space. Take one more deep breath here. And then inhale, lift the arms all the way back up. And as we exhale, they shift over to the left. So left fingertips coming behind, right hand coming to that thigh, to that knee, to twist into the other side. And it's going to take us a couple of breaths for it to feel the same as it did on that other side. So just take a moment here. Let yourself come into it. You're going to hear me a lot in our various twists say inhale, reach up, feel yourself lengthening through the spine, and as you exhale, maybe you twist a little. But remember, it's from that core. Inhaling to reach yourself up tall, like there's something pulling you up to really bring you height. What do I mean? Like you're sitting on a horse, that real straight spine as you're sitting up nice and tall. Let's take one more breath here. And then gently bring it all the way back to center. You're just going to bring your hands over your feet. First fingers are facing forward, your hands are underneath your shoulders, and we're going to tuck your toes and press all the way back to downward facing dog. Really feeling that hinge at the hips, so you can have a big old bend in the knees if that lets you press your bum a little higher. Find that straight spine, that hinge of the hips. Take a deep breath here. And then start to walk your feet up towards your hands, one footprint at a time, making your way all the way to the top of the mat. And bring your feet hip width. If you've got blocks or books, bring them along with you here, but just kind of shift them out of the way so you can still fold. They're just in front of you, ready to use in a sec. Tip the tip of the head down towards the mat. Think the weight is moving forward, hips over heels. And find a bit of a fold here. And we're going to find a couple of half lifts to really encourage that length, because that's going to be really important in our twist, is always thinking of reaching up and then twist. We're not just forcing ourselves to the side, we're finding that length to then move into the twist. So place your hands onto those blocks. I'm on the highest setting. If you don't have blocks, you might dangle your hands here, so you'll see as we lift. So instead, just fingertips above the floor. As you inhale, if you've got your blocks, press your hands into them, lift your chest, press the bum back, roll the shoulders back, find that flat back that something could balance on, something really important to you. You don't want it to fall off, so keep it up there. And then as we next exhale, can you fold it down? Inhale, can you press your hands down into the blocks, or those hands are lifting fingertips off the earth. Roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. Find that lift. Exhale, release it down. One more like this. Inhale, lift, hands to the blocks, or they're hovering. Roll the shoulders back. Exhale, take it down. Lovely, shift those blocks out of the way. We're going to reach the hands wide as we come all the way up, stretch it up, and then bring the hands down through center. And then release the hands beside you, rolling the shoulders back, lifting the chest, our mountain pose, Tadasana. Okay, inhale to reach the arms all the way up. And as we exhale, bring them down through heart center as you send that bum back. Find the fold. Inhale, lift your hands to your shins, or you might keep them hovering like we were doing, reaching the chest forward, finding that flat back. And then exhale, release the hands. We're going to step the left foot back and lower the knee. So we're coming into a lunge. We're making sure that we've got some space between our feet, because we're going to be twisting here and we want to find that steady grounding before we do anything else. So I've got some space between each of my legs, and then we're gently going to reach the arms all the way up, roll the shoulders away from the ears into your lunge. Now with your next exhale, you're going to reach your right arm back, left arm forward to find this twist. Now, you want to try and keep your torso over your hip, so you're not reaching too far forward, too far back. You want to try and keep that knee bending. Maybe you gaze back towards that right hand, but remember what I said earlier about the kind of not forcing the neck, not finding any strain in the neck. And can you reach your arms as wide as possible, as much length between those fingers as you can? Okay, we're going to find some flow with this. So inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, widen it to the side, right arm back, left arm forward. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, take it wide. Lovely. One more time, reach the arms up. And exhale, open. Nice. Now cartwheel the hands around that front foot. We're going to step that back foot all the way up to the front into our forward fold. And then inhale, lift hands to shins, find a lift. Exhale, release it down. Inhale, let's rise. Bring the arms all the way up. Exhale them down through heart center and release the palms. Lovely. So let's do that on the other side. Inhale, lift the arms all the way up. Exhale, bring them down through heart center as you send the bum back, hinge at the hips. Inhale, lift your hands to shins or hover as you find that half lift. And then exhale, release. This time we're going to step right foot back and lower that knee. So making sure that you set yourself up with the foundations you need here. So making sure you've got some space between the legs, you're not on a tightrope. And finding that security and stability really spread into that front foot. Reach the arms all the way up. Lovely. As you exhale, you're going to send your right arm forward, left arm back. I always find it really tricky to keep my torso as straight up as I can. So just notice if you're finding that tricky. Really think consciously about keeping it steady and central. Spread those arms wide. Maybe you gaze back towards those left fingers, but not if it's doing anything to the neck. Inhale, let's reach the arms up and forward, and let's find some flow with this. Exhale, open the arms to the left. Inhale, reach them up. Exhale, send that left arm back, right arm forward. Inhale, bring it up. Last time, exhale, send it out. Inhale, take it all the way up. And then we're going to release those hands around the front foot. Can you lift the back knee and step that left foot back to your downward facing dog? And let's just find a little flow to kind of shake that out a little bit. Inhale, reach yourself forward into your plank. Lower the knees down. Send the elbows back towards the toes as you release to the floor. And then inhale, press your hands down as you lift the chest to find a cobra. It can be as small or as tall as you would like. Can you keep a bend in the elbows and keep wrapping the shoulder blades back as if they were going to meet each other? Okay, release yourself all the way down. Press up to your knees, tuck your toes, lift your hips high, downward facing dog. Now we're going to find that twist, but a little added extra. So inhale, let's reach your right leg high. And exhale, let's step it through between the hands. Lower that back knee. But keep the toes tucked, actually, just in case you want to lift that knee in a bit. Again, setting yourself up, make sure that you've got that space between you. This time we're going to bring our hands to heart center. Now, if at any point this becomes too much and you actually want to go back to this twist, then find that twist. Otherwise, bring your hands to heart center. You're going to start to twist from your center, from your core, and bring that left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. Now, for some of us, this might be really constrictive because our bodies get in the way. So feel free to keep those arms wide. It's a little less invasive or hard, right, to get to different places. If you're coming with me, bring that elbow to the outside. You're pressing the palms together. Keep twisting from the core. Because now you've got this elbow here, you can really push yourself a little further, but I want you to still feel like that's coming from the center. And then roll that right shoulder back. Can you start to press these hands closer to your heart space? So you're pressing them kind of down into the middle of the chest. Now you can stay here, or you could lift the back knee, and that's just going to intensify it in the legs. Yeah? Ooh, yeah. So feel into wherever you are and wherever you want to be. We're going to take 3 more breaths. So you could be here. So that's 1 breath. Can you feel how it's different breathing now? Like this, right? That the breath has to take a slightly different route. 1 final breath. And then release the hands all the way down. We're going to step back to that downward facing dog and take it straight over to the other side. So lifting that left leg, kicking any plants that you've got around, and then stepping the foot through between the hands, laying that right knee down. Okay, bring yourself up, set yourself up. You're not on that tightrope. Bring your hands together. We're starting to twist from the core. As we bring ourselves over to the left, then that right elbow comes to outside of the thigh. I should have said before, but make sure that it doesn't go onto the knee. It's the thigh that it's hooking onto. Press those hands together as you kind of press your hands closer to the center of your chest. Roll that left shoulder back. And maybe you're lifting that back knee. And finding that twist here lifted. Wherever you are, you might be with your arms wide out. Let's take 3 breaths here. You really have to put a lot more thought into breathing deeply when we're in twists. A lot more kind of conscious effort to breathe deeply when the body's not in, I guess, its natural state for optimal breathing. Okay, great. We're gently going to bring ourselves back to center. Bring the hands down around the front foot. Lift that back knee and send it back to downward facing dog. And then you're just going to bring the knees down to the floor. And just come and sit back on the heels for a second. And just take a breath. You might close down your eyes here. Those twists are quite intense. Or I find them intense anyway. So just take a breath in this really kind of central position. You can always sit cross-legged if that feels more comfortable for you. And just take a moment to find those really deep breaths in a more central space. Okay, we're going to come into a twist that's a little less intense. So we're going to come onto hands and knees. And we're going to start out by finding length. So can you find a neutral spine here? Just like with our half lifts and finding that flat back that you can balance something on. That's what you want here. So you're pressing up through your hands and keeping kind of solid in your shoulders. But you're not arching your back. You're not pressing your spine up. You're in a nice neutral spine. We're going to take the right leg back behind us, toes pointing down towards the mat, and left arm out in front. And they're kind of as equal as possible in height. And this is just to find that length. So can you do exactly that? Reach out with your fingers, press back with your heel. See how much length you can create here. Yes. Really avoid, because like I quite naturally want to sink down into an arch here. Can you keep that flat back? And then we're going to lower the knee and take the arm all the way under the right arm. So we're wrapping it underneath to find a twist here. Bringing that left shoulder down to the earth and finding our thread the needle here. Now press through that right hand to roll your shoulder back. Make sure that weight is in the shoulder. So you can lift the head. Your head's obviously down to the mat, but the weight is in the shoulder. And shift the weight over to the left-hand side of the hips. So you're grounding yourself to the other side while you twist. You could lift this right arm up to kind of open up a little bit more, and you could travel that right hand around your lower back, kind of towards your left thigh. But you're only doing that if it helps you to open a little more. You feel that that's what you're doing. Take one more breath here. And then can you gently unravel your hand all the way down. Use this right hand to press into, to lift your left arm and just reach it all the way up, taking the spine back the other way, and then place it down. Cool. Let's do it on the other side. So hands and knees once more. We're taking that left foot, oh gosh, we're taking that left foot straight back into plant. One of the first things I should always say is make sure you've got some space, which I have not, clearly. Take your right arm in front of you and let's find that length before we twist. So press back with that heel, reach forward with that hand, really find that length. Yes. And then ground your knee. We're sending right arm underneath left, grounding the shoulder down to find our thread the needle. You're pressing the weight over to the right hand side of the hips to ground yourself down, and you could lift that left arm up and maybe it traces along your lower back. But keep rolling that left shoulder back wherever you are. We're twisting open to the side. We're keeping open in the twist. So that's kind of the theme. We're not closing down. We're keeping ourselves open and our chests bright. Take one more breath here. And then gently unwind that hand if it was back behind you. Press into the left hand as you reach the right arm all the way up and then send it back down. And we're just going to come to a seat because now let's find a couple of seated twists before taking it down onto our backs. So you're going to lay your right leg, your left leg out long. And then you're going to step your right foot over your left thigh. Now, make sure that your right foot is really firm on the ground. So it's not like up on the edge. It's pressing down into the ground. And keep those toes of the extended leg flexed. We're going to hug this right knee with our left arm, reach our right arm all the way up and circle it back to find this twist to the right. So try and keep those left toes flexed. Same rules apply. We're thinking up, reaching ourselves up on an inhale. Exhale, maybe twisting a little further. But just take it easy. We've got like another factor coming in here. We've got this leg now invading our belly space. So maneuvering ourselves around our limbs and also the breath maneuvering its way up our bodies now. Just notice how it's different. Keep rolling that right shoulder back. Remember, we're not putting too much weight in this right hand. We're twisting from the core. Keep thinking, inhale, lift, exhale, twist. Lengthening and twisting. Take one more breath here. Oh, I can feel a sneeze coming. Will it come? Will it come? It might in a minute. It's faded. Take one more breath here. Twisting does not cause sneezes. Not that I know. Gently release yourself back to the middle. And we're just going to send that right leg long. Just wiggle out the legs a little. And then cross your left foot over your right thigh. Keep those right toes flexed. Hug that knee with the right elbow. lift that left arm all the way up and back. Really nice and tall with the spine, making sure that that left foot is flat to the ground. Nice and tall, and then a little twist. Thinking inhale, lengthen that spine. Exhale, twist from the center. Inhale, lift, lengthen, exhale, twist. Relax that left shoulder away from the ear. Actively deepen your breath. And then gently bring yourself all the way back round to center. Just lengthen that leg, give them a little wiggle. Okay, now we're going to bring the soles of the feet as wide as the mat. Send the hands back behind you and just take your knees from side to side. A little gentle twist here. And then you're gently going to roll yourself back, and we're going to find kind of that on our backs. So roll yourself all the way down. Oh, lovely. Maybe take a stretch out with your arms while you're here. Maybe your legs briefly too. Stretch the body out. And then bring the soles of the feet as wide as the mat. And we're just going to continue those kind of windscreen wipers, knees side to side, without the annoying noise that windscreen wipers make, as much as everything in my inner being is wanting to replicate that noise for you. I know that it's not what you want. Although comment below if it is. Hey, who knows? Okay, the next time that your knees are over to the right, can you leave them there? And we're going to bring our arms out to a T shape or to a cactus and gaze over the left fingertips, if that feels okay on the neck. So we're now twisting, but in a more restorative way. There's less stuff kind of involved in our body, so hopefully more space for the breath. If you didn't feel, or if you don't feel much here and you want to kind of take it a bit deeper, you could place the right heel on top of the left thigh, and that kind of anchors it down a little bit more to twist to the side. Wherever you are, take one more breath. Can you really press your shoulders down into the mat, sinking yourself down? And then release the ankle from the thigh if it's there. Everyone, bring your knees back up to center and then take them over to the left. Your gaze goes over to the right if you did it on the other side, if it feels okay on the neck. And if you did it on the other side, you could place that left heel on top of right thigh. But if that feels too much, just slip it off. It's totally not mandatory. Whatever you're feeling today, which could very well be different from yesterday. And if that heel is wrapped over the thigh, release it. Bring the knees back up to center and come and hug them in. One last little squeeze. And then take your legs out long, arms out to the side, feet relax up to the side, snuggle your shoulder blades underneath you. And stay here in your Shavasana for as long as you've got. Really do milk it. Have as much time as you need now here. And I encourage you to breathe deeply and feel the space. Now that you're again kind of free and central, move that breath. I hope you enjoyed this. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. It puts a smile on my face every time one of you does. And thanks to all of you who have. And I'll see you again next time.